going on? Just want to let y'all know before I get started, if you got beef with me or you got any problems, you've been having desires that you want to knuckle up, or you don't like me for something I did or didn't do in the past, or so you got some animosity towards me, some hostility, you know what I mean? You don't like my face, but you want to see my face. You know what I'm saying? You see me on Instagram, you see other people posting my stuff, liking my stuff. You see people that bought the book and they liked the book and they gave a good review on the book. Any of those things, you know what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. We gonna talk about beef today, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about today. You know what I mean? What's going on? Achad, holography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline. Achad, get the book. It's available at my website, streaming down there, holographer.com/the-book. Patreon, get involved. $ Alex Will 64 for the Cashapp if you would like to donate. But this is going to be a fiery live stream. Why? Because we're dealing with beef. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with beef right here. You know what I mean? Make it a little smaller. We're dealing with beef today. Beef. Beef is when the nigga like you know that what was that some of y'all is into hip hop, like they had this DVD series back in the early 2000s called Beef, where it was just this cameramen going around. I think DJ Vlad was a part of that or something like that, where they would just go around the rappers beefing with other rappers, you know what I'm saying? Just adding to the fire, or adding fuel to the fire of one black male against another black male. I think they even dealt with female rappers beefing with other female rappers. You know what I'm saying? It was exciting. It's like two boxers, or just all these boxers, talking shit about each other, going back and forth about what they're going to do to each other in the ring. So they kind of made like a hip hop version of that, where 50 Cent beefing with Ja Rule, and what I'm saying, they would document that. You know what I'm saying? It was called Beef. But that was a form of beef. But now we're talking about this Netflix show that came out last month in April, starring Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong. I already told you on the previous live stream that I was going to do a review on this because of the very last episode, which ties it all together. Spoiler alert, for those that haven't seen it. I'm gonna try not to like really delve into the storyline, but just deal with like some of the central themes, and then the very last episode, which again, it really ties it together, and it's an excellent show. This Beef, it's very excellent. You kind of wanted to go on and on and on, but I think the last episode of this show tied it all up for me. This really could have been a movie, and if you're really trying to explore a theme, sometimes a movie, even if it's like 3 hours, it's not enough. It's not going to do the story justice. I'm glad that they did this. It's like 10 episodes on Netflix for this show. Highly rated. I don't know what anybody else is saying, because I didn't really read anybody else's review, and I'm gonna stop doing that because some of it is, we don't have all the same tastes. You know what I'm saying? This is me curating these movies and shows. I got a film TV review playlist on this channel, Wholography. It's all going to be put in here. This video will be put in there as well. This show is the epitome, or the summation, of everything I was talking about in my video about twin flames, to the T. Now, again, I said in that twin flames video that your twin flame situation doesn't have to play out like mine, or like how it plays out in this this show Beef. And you wouldn't even suspect that they are twin flames, but you find out exactly what they are in the last episode of the show. This is a teaching. I would use this show as a teaching tool. I would definitely, because this is what I'm doing now. Like, I'm using it as a way to kind of like teach about the twin flame situation. This is where it's epitomized. Now let's get the surface stuff out of the way. It's Asian American, and what I did like about the show is that they didn't focus on one Asian culture. Like, they dealt with Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, maybe some other ones, but I know those are the three main ones. Like the guy that plays Danny, Steven Yeun, he hold on, let me make sure. Some of y'all can't follow along, so you got to use the mouse to kind of direct you to shit. But Steven Yeun, like I said, he played in the movie from last year, Nope, the Jordan Peele movie. He played as Ricky Park. He was that character in the movie. He plays Danny Cho, so he is Korean. He plays a Korean character. I'm not totally sure what Danny or Steven Yeun's ethnicity is in real life. And then you had Ali Wong. Like I said, she's a comedian. Um, she was funny in this show, so I might even check out her stand up. You know what I mean? She plays a Chinese woman, I believe, in this show, if I can recall. So this is it's, and then you have like Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and they all kind of mixed in together. You know what I'm saying? It's barely any black people in it, but who cares? Like I said, it's their story. Asians, you know what I'm saying? And then there's a couple white people sprinkled in there for good measure because we are dealing with Asian Americans, not merely just Asians. Because I think there is a divide in their community of you have Asians that are here in America. They've been proselytized, conditioned in with American standards. They are American just like you and I, if you're American watching this. So when it comes to being American, even if your ethnicity is from another country, the training here and the conditioning that you get here, it kind of cancels out your it kind of cancels out where you from a Chinese woman and a Korean man. It kind of cancels that out. And what I like about this show, like just on the surface level, before we get into anything esoteric or occult, they deal with these Asian people. I think it's a real life depiction of it. Because it's just like you could put black people in these roles, you could put white people, you could put Indians, Pakistanis, you know what I'm saying? And it would be the same. Like as long as they have like they're here in America. It shows American life. And I think they did portray this stuff accurately instead of trying to like, put them on a pedestal or degrade them in any way. Nah, this is an accurate depiction. Because it also kind of reminds me of Pulp Fiction and kind of some of those Quentin Tarantino movies. With Quentin Tarantino, he always shows you like the good and bad of each character, the dark and the light of each character, especially if you watch in Pulp Fiction. You'll see that each of these characters have a good side or angelic side, like a good side, and then they have like an evil, dark, criminal, what I'm saying, like detrimental side to them. And he even does that within the cinematography of that movie where he shows like a lighter side and then the shadow, like how you light the film to kind of give you that divide that this person is not all good and they're not all bad. They're a mix, which is accurate to me to anybody out here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they did that. The acting is top notch. I didn't get any type of feeling that, it was underperformed. Nah, they performed their roles in this. You know what I'm saying? They really did. They dealt with some real life themes of, dealing with um, being in a relationship you don't want to be in, or, following behind what your parents want you to be. It's kind of like I said, I said I was going to do this show, review it, and then also review, and which I've already did, the Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is also Asian centered. So they deal with this theme again of, your parents that come from, mainland or the old world, like from China, Japan, Korea, or whatever, and you come to America and you have a whole different idea of what you want to do because now you're American. You know what I'm saying? We have a whole different set of values and things that we're striving for, as opposed to if you from Africa or Asia or Europe or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So is that parental clashing that's going on in this show too. Um, and then it deals with just the dark side of human nature. So Asians are not exempt. Black people are not exempt. White people are not exempt. Hindus are not exempt. So if you see any of these ethnicities sitting here trying to like glorify their ethnicity in their films and TV shows, cut that shit out. Everybody has a dark side. Everybody got secrets, baby. Everybody got a dark side to them. What you mean? Everybody got a shadow self, and we see shadows throughout this beef series. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they did not try to glorify Asians in here. They gave it straight, they gave it to you raw. You know what I'm saying? The good and the bad of who they are, and then how it reflects on everybody else, no matter who they are. I'm black, you white, you know what I'm saying? You a biracial mix, you know what I'm saying? Triracial. Some of y'all is like multiracial, you don't know what you is, you know what I mean? You like 8 different blood types, you know what I'm saying? We all accept you. You all American. We all American out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You have the original Americans. I ain't gonna say Native Americans because you know who the original Americans are. Hint hint. But this is a real good show. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it marinate and then go back and watch it and kind of really dig into it because I only just watched it once all the way through. But I'm glad because Netflix be lacking. They putting out bullshit nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Buffed up bullshit. You know what I'm saying? As a streaming service, the first one to do the streaming, Netflix. But this is a winner. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving this 5 stars. Now let's get into what I really want to talk about. This is a twin flame story, all the way from the beginning to the end. Why is it a twin flame story? Because these two motherfuckers right here are direct reflections of each other throughout this whole show. It starts out with them having a road rage incident where one backed out and one didn't see the other, and they flipping the bird. That's why I like how they got this artwork where they flipping each other the finger, and they're superimpose their body on both of the fingers. They do a lot of middle fingers to each other throughout this show. The thing is, they can't let go of a simple situation. So, for example, you road rage sometimes, like I said, and I just made a video where I was talking about, just real briefly, where I was saying like some of y'all niggas can't drive. You know what I'm saying? And when I say nigga, it's not just black people. We talking about ignorant persons, and then just a term of endearment. But some of y'all niggas can't drive. You know what I'm saying? And I live out here in Iowa. It's the worst. On the East Coast, y'all know how to drive. I'm from the East Coast. We know how to drive. It's just that we drive real reckless and dangerous. We speed. We cut each other off. We're just real assholes to each other on the East Coast. But here where I live at in Iowa, these niggas just don't know how to drive. They don't. I don't know if the driving manual was not in tandem with other drivings. It's like you really want to get out the car and just lay hands. You know what I'm saying? E for everybody. Like just lay knuckles, hands, slaps, kicks, headbutts, choke slams. You just want to do that because they just don't know. They don't be know how. They don't drive well. And I know I've had road rage incidents plenty of times because I know when I'll be traveling across country, I know I'll be getting into that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is between me or it's just me, but sometimes when I'm driving on the highway and I see a car that they want to act like they want to be all fast and furious, and sometimes I get that urge to want to race them, but I don't want what I'm saying, because I'm black, and it's like whoever's going to get pulled over and harassed is probably going to be me because of the color of my skin. So I try to tone down on that. You know what I'm saying? Get you one of those scanners, those app scanners where it tells you that, where all the police is hiding at on the highway or whatever. But it starts out like that, but they kind of get into this accident in this show. Well, not an accident. They almost get into an accident, and they start flipping each other the bird. Then Danny starts chasing Amy. Her name is Amy in the show. And he starts chasing her. In the car is like a whole fucking car chase because he can't give it up. Some of y'all are plagued by the fact that you can't give things up. You gotta sit here and beef with somebody. You don't have to, but you won't let it go. So this is one of the running themes of this show, is that you don't want to let it go. So for example, that's what I said at the beginning. Some of y'all don't like me real. You don't like me like that. You know what I'm saying? You probably hate my guts, but you still watching. You don't like nothing I say. You don't like my face. You want to punch me. You want to do stuff. Some of y'all ain't like that, but if it is, you know what I'm saying, if you really on that level where you can't stand me, Achad, you can't stand my guts, Just like the picture, you know what I'm saying? Try to do it like this. If I had more arms, like I was Goro from Mortal Kombat, I give you another set of fingers. You know what I'm saying? But that's just a cover for what this thing is all about. This is twin flames, and when the relationship between these two people here is very telling. It's very revealing. Because again, when people start romanticizing twin flames and the whole soulmate shit, it's like, nah, relationships are more like what you see on this show right here. These two are twin flames, but they beefing throughout the whole thing. So even though they're twin flames, that doesn't mean that they have to have like high feelings for each other. Like they don't have to sit here and be lovey-dovey or have a feeling for each other. They can hate each other's guts. Because each episode is them going back and forth and it starts escalating. You know, in like the movie like The Dark Knight, where it's like, Batman was in the police and Commissioner Gordon is going so hard and trying to knock these criminals down. But what they actually wind up allowing for is a even super criminal to come through in the form of the Joker. So a Joker starts escalating shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's imbalance. You're trying to be overbearing on these criminals or these mobsters, but now they got to strike you back. It's just like at the end of the movie, the Batman Begins. If we start having, machine guns, they're going to get Kevlar vests and they're going to start escalating the beef. So this beef is it keeps escalating. They keep doing some real wicked, nasty shit to each other as the show keeps going on. And it's like, damn, y'all niggas just will not let go of this beef. All over a fucking, y'all wasn't even in a car accident. Y'all almost got into it. He almost backed into you and you flipped him the bird and he chased you all the way into a whole nother neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But it's also a character study of these two people because, again, they're at a point in their life where they're in a real life crisis. Like they're going through a whole crisis in their own lives. So you never know what another person is going through when you beefing with them. Like you sit here going beef with me, like you got problems with me. You don't know what I'm going through in my life. I could be on the verge of committing suicide, which this nigga right here, not to spoil too much, but he's on the verge of suicide in this show. You know what I'm saying? That's how down on his life he is. Like he's going through some shit. And so is she, but she's the one with the money. So he's struggling and she's the one that's, got money out the wazoo. Her and her husband and her daughter. She got money out the wazoo. She works for like a billionaire, a white woman billionaire in this show. But she got money. You know what I'm saying? So that goes to show you when it comes to this twin flame shit, it has really nothing to do. I'm like I said, I don't know which your situation could be different, but in this situation, she has all the money and he's struggling to get his business up because he's a construction person, like he's like a handyman and he's trying to get his company together. So how can somebody in his tax bracket ever meet up with somebody in her tax bracket? We talking about two different types of tax brackets. So, for example, you have people that's believing in twin flames and soulmates, and you think that your other half is supposed to be in the same. That you think that's going to be someone that's in the same tax bracket, same educational background, same probably ethnicity. Because again, he's Korean and she's Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle was on some shit like they all look the same to me, but like I said, I can notice certain cultural differences based on how they talk and certain customs that they have. But they had a real crossroads in their life. Like she's not even happy in her marriage. She's married to a Japanese man. So she's a Chinese and she's married to a Japanese man who is really a man baby because he's a mama's boy because his mom runs his life. So I don't know if you're a woman, you ever been in that situation where you're dating a man whose mother runs his life. He's really like a grown ass kid, and his mom makes all his decisions, feeds him, folds his that type of shit. He a mama's boy, you know what I'm saying? And she's not getting fulfilled in that relationship. You know what I mean? All this money, they got a child, they got a daughter, nice fat ass house in California, but she ain't happy. Ali Wong is sexy. She's a sexy woman. You know what I'm saying? She got a nice smile. You know what I mean? She ain't happy though. So some of y'all is in relationships right now where you only in it for the convenience or the money or to make yourself look have an image for other people because you don't want to look like how you actually feel on in Shy, like Dave Chappelle in Shy. You know what I mean? This facade. Your money can be your facade. Your house, your daughter, this marriage can be your facade. You know what I'm saying? You're just upholding it because you are trying to hide from the darker part of yourself. And we find out later in the show that, you know, her dad really cheated on her mom, like really was like adulterous. And that had a profound effect on her. Now let's flip over to him, Danny. This is Amy, this is Danny for those that don't know. Danny, on the other hand, he's a down on his luck construction person. He's trying to get his own business off the ground. He's struggling to find clients to do the, you know, construction and all the um, around the house handiworks, you know what I'm saying, like a handyman type of guy. And he's struggling to make money. You know what I'm saying? He's struggling. And he lives with his younger brother, who all his younger brother does is just play fucking video games and all day and invest in crypto. You know what I'm saying? And they wind up losing all this money from crypto. So it's like they got to start from square one. So he is, like I said, he's suicidal. He's one of those suicidal guys where they want to do it, but they don't really have the balls. They ain't got the Weibos, the balls to go through with it. They're just like playing on the edge of it. This is like slight edge lordy, but not really. And like I said, he lives with his brother, and you know, so between these two people with a fucked up life that they got going on, they start beefing with each other. So you can imagine how fucking vicious they get to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like she starts having sex with his brother. Oh man, it's crazy. I ain't know Asians get down like that. I thought y'all was meek, peaceful. You know what I'm saying? You sip the tea. And these are stereotypes that we need to start debunking or getting rid of. Because again, to me, they're Americans. I don't see them as Asians no more. They're American. So again, you can put black people in that. You can put white people in this situation. You can put Hindus in this situation. It'll turn out the same if you're in America. You know what I'm saying? But more on the twin flame thing, by the time we get to the last episode, things have escalated. People have died. People have lost their marriage. People have kidnapped kids. It gets crazy. Because what happens is their beef starts to involve everybody. So when you beef with somebody, it's not you're not just beefing with that person. You're beefing with their family. It's that's how it go. And then other people start getting involved into it. You know what I'm saying? And the things that you do in this beef comes back to haunt you. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't is really kind of it's her fault and it's his fault. It's his fault because he starts chasing her and then he, you know, disguise like he comes back to her, like he finds out where she lives and you know act like he's a handyman. He is a handyman, but he uses that to get into her house. Then he pisses all over her floor, and then she retaliates. It's retaliation ping pong. It's a back and forth, and it escalates. People start losing their life. People start going to prison because of this small beef, this small road rage accident or road rage incident. But it leads into learning how these two are actually twin flames. So with all this beefing that they're doing between each other, they're actually one in the same. They're other halves of each other. So the beef is really a cover for them actually having this encounter between twin flames. Because I told you in the twin flame video, you know, you may meet your twin flame in the most unlikely of situations. You know what I'm saying? Because I even said in that video that you can meet your twin flame when y'all get into a car accident with each other. They almost get into an accident. You know what I mean? And that's how they meet. So you trying to chase the perfect lover, you trying to chase the perfect woman, the perfect man. That's futile. Because again, she gets into a marriage with a man who is a mama's boy. He can't make his own decisions. She's not happy with that. She's not pleased with that. And she puts on the smile and the money and the house and the job and all that. Even signs on to get like $10 million. She's not happy with any of those things. So this is another instance of a person who has everything you wish you had, but they're not happy with that shit. It doesn't give them peace. It doesn't give them satisfaction or fulfillment. None of that. And then on his side, this is a dude where it's like, he's trying to make up for past mistakes. He got a crazy cousin that kind of jeopardized his parents' hotel business, where they had to move all the way back to Korea. So he's trying to make money to bring them back into America, and it's not going so well. He lost like $20,000 trying to invest in crypto. Leave that crypto bullshit alone. And if you're a crypto nigga, we can knuckle up, we can beef. I'm gonna tell you straight to your face that don't invest in crypto. Don't. Leave crypto alone. Leave it alone. Leave it the fuck alone. It's not for you. Don't get sucked into no pyramid MLM marketing schemes. Steer clear of that. Just do traditional investing in metals, muni bonds. Get into muni bonds. Don't fuck with crypto. I'm telling you, don't do it. But anyway, now you got twin flame. See, the twin flame thing is about you facing your darker side. And it just so happens that your darker side is feminine. And if you're a woman, your darker side has more of a masculine thing to it. So their twin flame bashing and beefing is them seeing how fucked up each other is. It's like Namaste, but more fucked up. So it's uh fucked up stay. You know what I'm saying? The fucked up in me sees the fucked up in you. You know what I mean? And that's where they start to, in the last episode, it's like they're blending with each other. Because they wind up in some, wilderness, and they eat some sort of drug or some sort of plant that makes them hallucinate. And then it starts to happen. This is where the twin flame shit really kicks in. This is where it's like whoever wrote this shit they're very on point with this esoteric understanding of twin flames, how they start blending into each other without even having sex, without even knocking boots, because there's no reason for them to knock boots. They're just two people on the surface that got into a situation where they could have been in an accident and they couldn't let the beef go. They needed to sit here and retaliate against each other back and forth, and it keeps escalating. But by the time we get to the last episode, it all makes sense. This was this encounter where the man sees his other half, the woman sees her other half. As much as they hate each other, they can't stand each other, they even come to about to kill each other, it starts to click. You're the other half of the other person. And now you get to see your direct reflection in the other person, for good or for worse. And for this show, it's more leaning towards the worst. So you see how nasty they can be to each other. My is nasty stay. Not I forgot the word. I'm just making up words. Neologism. Look it up. Nasty stay. Nanaste. I made a post on my Instagram. Nanaste. The nasty in me sees the nasty in you. You know what I'm saying? And they bond over that nastiness. They bond over that darkness. They bond over that fucked upness that they both have in each other. I'm seeing your fucked upness, but it's a really reflection of my fucked upness. And we have to be able to embrace that about each other and embrace that about ourselves. It's not all lovey-dovey, but it winds up being that way towards the end because it's like you're looking at your other half. You're looking at your reflection. You ever had that experience? Like, go in the bathroom right now. You ain't even gotta watch this live. Go in the bathroom right now. Or if you have mirrors, I got a mirror right here in my living room. Just look at it. All the shit you hate about yourself, all the shit you don't like, all the shit that you like to reject and project on the other people, all those bad memories, all those fucked up traumas you got you behaving in these fucked up ways out here. And then you come across somebody who is the exact same way. How do you react? How do you deal with that? How do you cope? You gotta love yourself. If anything about a twin flame relationship, you gotta love yourself because that's what they're going to reflect back to you is the nastiness in you, the fucked up about you. So it teaches you to love yourself for who you are, despite the fact that you're kind of fucked up or you crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're very vindictive and petty. You know what I'm saying? You nasty. You know what I mean? You got an ugly side to you. You know what I'm saying? And then in a twin flame situation, it's like it leads you to kind of embrace that about yourself because it's like you see that in the other person and how fucked up it makes them. See, a lot of people don't know how fucked up they are until another fucked up person shows them. Until it's reflected in that other person. And they executed this shit excellently. You know what I'm saying? Excellently executed in this show. And it's like a slow paced thing. So it's like they kind of giving you pieces of how this is going to end. Because you think one of these motherfuckers is going to kill each other. That's how the beef escalates. You think, two gangbangers beefing. Nah, these is two people ain't got nothing to do with no gangs. And they beefing hard. They want to fuck up each other's life. They go to the edge and over. They are edge lords against each other. So imagine me, I'm fucked up and you fucked up, and now we about to fight. Just imagine the nasty, just wretched shit we gonna do to each other. Because again, people like to sit here and romanticize this twin flame thing or this soulmate thing. You could be at each other's necks. But the last episode of this show really ties it up, like I said, because they are alone in the wilderness together. So it's almost like a marriage that they about to go through. She's still, well, is she still married to the Japanese dude? No, her Japanese husband wants to take custody of their daughter from her, based on how far she went, and it had a devastating effect on her household and her family. So her husband don't want really nothing to do with her anymore. He wants to take the child and leave. So by the time the show ends, and then he alienates his own brother, so his brother don't want nothing to do with him because he was kind of like throwing his brother's this guy right here. Like years ago, he threw all his brother's college acceptance letters in the trash. So imagine you found out that your brother or some other family member through your opportunity for higher education and a career in life, they threw all your shit in the trash. Like, would you speak to them again? So they kind of lost these things or on the brink of losing them. But like I said in that last episode, they are lost in the woods now. They lost in the mountains. So that's also a callback to you going on like this drug, or this psychedelic trip. Like if you, for those of you that like to go to South America and go on an ayahuasca trip, or just in the comfort of your own home, you take one of those mushroom caps. You take a psilocybin mushroom, or LSD or peyote, whatever you eat, and you go on this journey through the woods. They go on this journey together, and they start hallucinating, and now they're confused as to who's who. So you have Danny talking like he's Amy, and then Amy is talking like she's Danny. That's a twin flame relationship. That's a marriage right there. And they depicted it on a Netflix show. Bravo. They did it real good. They did it excellently executed. Two people that sat here was about to kill each other is now on a journey of this, what you would call, or what's called Hyros Gamos, which I talked about in my twin flame video, which is literally sacred marriage, alchemical marriage, sacred wedding. They go through that. Notice that there's no wedding cake, there's no wedding dress, there's no broom, um, a groom suit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be wearing a 3-piece suit at the weddings, you know what I'm saying? Partying and shit. None of that. They bloody, they injured, broken leg, ain't eating the whole day, they starving. That's what it's all about. Because they start to blend as one. Because if you're my other half, our relationship together is a completeness. It's going to be more complete than any other relationship I could ever have or you could ever have. And they depict this in the show. They show it to you. Now, again, like I'm gonna keep saying this, it's not that your situation with your twin flame is going to play out the same way. It's just showing you how it actually, like how a way that it kind of happens. The same themes arise. You know what I'm saying? You're facing each other's darkness in a way that no one else has seen before. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think it was convenient that they started eating, because they was, they was starving. They was kind of in the middle of nowhere and they ain't have nothing to eat. So they kind of just try to, find something to eat, so that they don't starve to death. But they wind up eating some sort of psychedelic plant. I don't know which plant it was, and it doesn't matter, because if this was your situation, like I said, you eat the psilocybin mushroom, you eat the ayahuasca, salvia, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it's called, that not, niggas go straight stupid after the salvia. I've seen videos where they just go dumb. But this is a situation where you go on that trip with your other half. Crazy, right? And like I said, they start blending with each other. It's almost like they become one person by the end of the show. Some people aren't willing to go through that because they don't want to die. Because this is also, when you go into that whole sacred marriage thing, it's death is involved in that. So how does that work if one or both of y'all do not want to die? And what I mean by die is you die to your individuality, not a physical death, but I guess that can play a part in it too if you go into that extreme. However, just generally, it's both of you dying to your individuality. That's the true union. That's the true marriage. So think about all the times you ever got engaged, or you think about marriage. Do you really think you know what that is? Because it's not as glorious and glamorous as they put it in these movies. And you do have movies where they kind of explore, how marriage has kind of been a sham for the past century or whatever. It's been about money. Some people get into it because they're just lusting. They're not really in love. They're not really trying to marry in this sacred way. And the thing is, these two don't even have sex in the whole show. How you going to beef with somebody and then have sex with them? Or have sex with them and be beefing? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's out there. I'm not saying that it isn't, but they don't know each other. They ain't even of the same ethnicity. Again, he's Korean in the show and she's Chinese. I think that's their same ethnicity in real life. I think he is Korean, and Stephen Yeun is Korean. Ali Wong is Chinese, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me. But they have no reason to know each other other than just sharing, being of Asian. Asia is a very large continent, so there's a lot of different ethnicities and, people there. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one monolith. You know how some black people say, well, we're not a monolith. We're not all the same black people. Well, it's the same for them too, for the Asians. You know what I mean? So they really don't have any reason to meet up with each other, come across each other's path. They don't have a reason for any of that up until that one encounter where they was about to get into a car accident. See, I'm telling you, this is how that shit be working. You'll never know when that's your twin flame until it's time for you to find out. You'll never know until the time comes for you to know. So you can have been around your twin flame all your life and never knew that was your twin flame. Or it could be in their situation where these two random people seemingly don't from different backgrounds, don't know nothing, would have never met otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Would have never came across each other otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you brought up the okay, yes. I've seen Hancock plenty of times. One of my favorite movies. And not because of Will Smith, because of the twin flame thing. It's similar. Very similar. But what I didn't like about Hancock is that they tried to make it seem like when they got together, Charlize Theron, and in real life she be having African kids and be switching their genders up. So she got an adopted African son, but she be dressing him up like a woman. That's why I don't like her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know her outside of that, but you have her and then you have Will Smith in the movie where they're twin flames. They're twin goddesses, right? And they try to put it to you where when they get close to each other, they lose their powers. They try to do that shit. When it's for me, it's the exact opposite. Why would you lose your powers when y'all get together? No, y'all power is supposed to increase. You're becoming one person. You're becoming one thing. Two halves of the same whole coming together. You're supposed to be the most powerful thing in existence. You know what I'm saying? That's what's supposed to happen. So they try to give you that stupid ass propaganda in there. You know what I mean? Because then that gives you the message of no, you're not supposed to be with your twin flame because if you do, you'll lose your superpowers. It's a ridiculous premise. I see what they were trying to do with that movie. The exact opposite is true though. Because you even see it in this show, Beef, where, like I said in the last episode, they come to love each other. And not a love where I love you because of your dick. I love you because of your pussy. I love you because you got money. I love you because you look good. I love you because you're nurturing and caring. No, that's not the reason why they fall in love. They fall in love because they went on that trip and realized who each of them were to each other. Again, they have no other reason to come across each other. Now, in the movie Hancock, and I'm so glad you brought that up, this movie up, because Hancock, again, it deals with that shit, but it deals with it in a fucking propaganda sense. Now, in Hancock, you got Will Smith and Charlize Theron, and they're immortals, so they don't die. So they go through ages and ages without dying, but they always end up back with each other. But it seems like Charlize, I don't know if you fuck her name, Charlize, she doesn't want to be with him, with Will Smith. She keeps avoiding him. And you can see in her face, she portrays that in the movie where she can't get away from this nigga. Obviously, duh, that's your twin flame. How you going to get away from that nigga? She can't get away from, like, she'll go and try to live a whole new life, whole new identity. She's married in the movie, got a stepson. Even in that situation, Will Smith keeps winding back in her life. After centuries and millennia, she can't get rid of him. Because in Hancock, Will Smith gets, some amnesia where he don't know who he is. So the movie is also about discovering who he is because he's basically this modern day superhuman that doesn't know who he is. In fact, he calls himself Hancock because someone asks him to give his John Hancock, where you give a signature, and he thought that was his real name. So that's why his name Hancock. And in that, I think it was like the 1920s where he got hit on his head fighting or doing something where he loses his memory. So for like 8 decades or 9 decades, he loses his memory. Then he subconsciously, if you want to use that term, finds his way back to Charlize, which is his twin flame. And as soon as she sees him, she's like shocked. It's like, I can't get away from this nigga. Cause that's your nigga. How you gonna get away from a nigga that's your nigga? Goofy. No, you're not going to get away from, even at the end of that movie where they agree to, separate. That's not going to last. That's not going to last. How is that going to last? Because y'all don't want the superpowers? No, that's backwards. They're trying to trick you. Adjustment Bureau. Are you coming up with the movies? I've seen this a couple times too. Very similar. In Adjustment Bureau, Matt Damon is slated, his path that these angels have kind of laid out for him. He's not going on that path. He finds true love with his twin flame. Again, another movie you can watch. You said you feel that this is the best twin flame flick. I'm gonna put that in the second rank for me. For me, I'm gonna put Beef. Beef is not a movie; it's a show. But I think this is the best depiction of it, because this is like, you don't have to sit here and add in gods or angels or none of that shit, because that's what you get in the movies with Hancock and Adjustment Bureau. In this movie, it's just two motherfuckers. Like, there's nothing supernatural or spiritual you got to deal with. So this is something that you can show someone who's not even into the stuff we're into, and you can show them this is how that twin flame thing, like, this is how it can unfold. But going back to the Adjustment Bureau, that movie was right. I gotta put it on the second, because there's also the movie The Fountain. The Fountain with who's in that movie? Hold on, let me look that up. The Fountain. Hold on. Who's in this? Yeah, and I like Darren Aronofsky as a director. Okay, yeah, so Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. So this is another twin flame movie where they keep coming back to each other in different eras in time. They just keep coming back to each other. So this is another movie like that. And you could tell just by the names that they have here that they're different people in different times in history. And they can't escape each other. They always wind up back to each other. Another movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I've already explained how Dracula is an immortal. He doesn't, he's Dracula. He doesn't die, or not die how we die, but his wife dies. And then centuries later, he runs into her reincarnated self now. You know what I'm saying? So there is this theme that you can't get away from your other half. You can't get away from them. You can try to, like, create distance, but there is no escaping. You know what I'm saying? How you going to escape what's in you? It's in you. That's your other self. But going back to Adjustment Bureau, I'm glad you brought that movie up. That's a thing where it's love can, they try to give you the message that love can, alter your route in life or alter your destiny. Because he's supposed to be this big ass presidential. I think he's supposed to be a president or some sort of big politician. Like, that's the path that was laid out for him. But he meets up with the woman that's his other half. So now these angels in the form of, this, I like how they frame the angels like they're this kind of like government agent type of angels. They take the angel thing and mix it with government agents. So they're trying to put him back on that course, but he's already on this course of being with his twin flame. You know what I'm saying? Would you say I feel a lot of directors of these box sets are benefiting hugely off of past films? I mean, there's stories where the themes are going to be rehashed. There's a Romeo and Juliet every 10 years or every 5 years. It's the same theme. The themes keep recycling, but it's different stories. Same themes, though. So I wouldn't say some of them may be copying, but it's also, if it's the theme, you know what I'm saying, is you can keep making stories about the same theme. Like if the theme is self-loathing, you can keep making movies about self-loathing. If the theme is about twin flames, you can keep making movies and stories about that. You feel me? But get back to the beef. We beefing. Because again, they romanticize shit where, it's supposed to be all romantic and lovey-dovey. Perhaps it can lead to that. It could lead to that. Hell, it could even start off like that. But again, it doesn't include the shadow part of yourself. The darker parts are not being explored in that romanticism. See, the romanticism is you trying to gloss over, you know what I'm saying, the fucked up and nastiness that y'all probably have in each other, that y'all got. So again, Nanaste, the nastiness in me sees the nastiness in your ass. You stinking rashy ass, but you know what I'm saying? He says, is it possible to create an original theme? All themes already exist. This is the principle. This is a Jadakiss chamber I'm talking about. You can mix themes together. Themes are eternal. That's what I was trying to get to people in that video I made about the Jadakiss chamber, dealing with principles. These principles are eternal. So the way in which they mix together, and it's just like being able to take a table of elements and start putting them together. So what do you mean about our original theme? It's these themes are timeless. And if you want to be more accurate, deal with the whole age of the zodiacs. For example, if you're moving into Aquarius, Aquarius comes with its own themes. So as another great year goes by, we go back into the age of Aquarius and deal with the same themes. Because what's a great year? Like 26,000 years? That's a great year. You're going to recycle right back to the same theme. So, I couldn't really say if you can create an original theme, but what I do say is that another, coming back to the cycle where certain themes mix together and you get a hodgepodge of themes. But we're getting sidetracked. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the whole flame thing. You know what I'm saying? That is on today's menu. Beef. It's what's for dinner or supper. I already told you eat supper, you know what I'm saying, around 4 or 5 o'clock, you know what I'm saying, in the evening or afternoon. But dinner is 9 and 10, 11 o'clock in my house when I grew up. You know what I mean? I don't know if I ever had supper. But I feel that this show just really kind of gives you that in your face without having to be mystical, magical, out otherworldly. It gives you that twin flame, other half relationship right on a platter. They call it beef. Served up. It's what's for supper. You know what I'm saying? Now juxtapose that or put that in the same put it right next to, when I say juxtapose, I mean put it right next to or compare it to all the messages you're getting from a lot of movies about what love is and what romance is and what marriage is and what relationships are. Reflection is relation. Relation is reflection. Some of y'all are avoiding who you're supposed to be with because you don't want to see sides of yourself. You don't want the beef. And then if you do want to get into past life stuff, like dealing with the movie The Fountain, some of these things need to be resolved and y'all ain't resolving them. So of course you're going to come back and be on some beef shit. So if you wanted to take this whole beef show and put in the context of, this is some sort of past life problem that they have to resolve. So in a past life, these two could have did something heinous to each other. That could have very well been. They did something nasty to each other, and in this lifetime, gotta sort it out. Gotta go through it. Probably one left the other one to die somewhere in the past life. You don't know. That's unresolved. So now in this situation, in this lifetime, gotta deal with that. Gotta revisit that. Gotta find closure to it. Gotta resolve that resolution. Because think about a situation where someone is just like you. Why do you dislike them if they're just like you? That means you don't like yourself in some parts of yourself. You have problems with yourself. How you going to dislike somebody that's just like you? That means you don't like you. You don't like your reflection. And that's an issue. That's something that has to be resolved. You feel me? No? You feel me? Do you read me? Tell me if I'm getting through to you. No, no. And then you trying to get revenge against someone that's your twin flame? That's some serious shit. It's like hurting yourself. Do you see how that works? When you hurt your other half, you hurt yourself. You've done damage to yourself. That's something to learn about this type of shit. And then to a lesser degree when you're dealing with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like even, because I said when it comes to this twin flames and soulmates, twin flame is more of your direct reflection. Soulmates is a lesser reflection, is reflecting some particular aspect. In this regard, though, these two are reflecting each other directly. I just put like two more syllables in that. Directly. You know what I mean? So I do implore you to watch this. Please do. It behooves you to watch this so that you don't have glossy eyes, you know what I'm saying, or glazed seeings or glazed views of what these type of relationships are. They go through the sacred marriage by the end of the film or end of the show. Not to spoil it too much, but they go through that in the weirdest way. You would never think it would end up like that. So think about people entering your life. You really think that it's random chance that they're in your life now or you're in theirs? You better start paying a little closer attention to what the message is. And these don't just pop up in your life for no reason. And you don't just pop up in theirs for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Look at this from an occult vantage point, viewpoint. Everybody comes here to reflect you. Relation is reflection. If any of you niggas right now, whether you beefing with me on the low or not, you come into my life, I'm going to figure out why you're there. You're not just there on some chance or some random circumstance. Nah, you're there for me to reflect on. You are a reflection of who I am. Even if we beefing at supper time, you know what I'm saying? Niggas beefing over supper. You beef over dinner, but on supper is supposed to be more like the last, like Jesus. Like they was cool and it was camaraderie, it was fellowship. You know what I'm saying? You know, the church, they fellowship. Better learn how to fellowship with your other half. But that's my time, man. Stephen Yeun, Ali Wong, Asian American Twin Flames, Beef, Netflix came out in April 6th. Go watch it. You know what I'm saying? Achad, you know what I mean? Make sure you get this and stop playing with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Wholography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline. And I'll see y'all some other time. Beef. Beef is when a nigga like you can't eat. You know how they was doing on that beef mixtape circuit. You know what I'm saying? Them discs where there was rappers was beefing with each other and y'all thought it was an epic thing. Crazy shit. Real crazy shit. Greetings, folks. This is Achad. had to cut into the video to let you know that this book here, Wholography, now it's on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. So if you have the Kindle service, you can definitely check it out. There's even a longer sample for you to read, where you can really get into if you really want to know about my book or not. For me, it's more about getting the book out there rather than trying to make a sale exclusively. So but if you are one of those scholars where you want the book, you want to do some highlighting and some annotating, and you really want to tear it apart, which that's what I really want you to do, then definitely go to my website, holographer.com/the-book, and do it that way. Either way is cool with me. And now back to the video.